Yes, I would like to know what happens to officers when they violate the right of the people to videotape police officers.
Okay, hold on a moment, please.
I'm sorry, sir. I could not understand your speech. It's not legible to my hearing. Could you say that again?
Sergeant Cabrera speaking, Professional Compliance Bureau.
Oh, okay. Professional what?
Compliance Bureau, Internal Affairs Section.
Professional compliance?
Yes.
Professional compliance. I was wondering what happens to officers when it's a bureau, right?
It's a bureau. What is a bureau? I'm sorry.
Professional Compliance Bureau.
Bureau, yes.
Okay, I don't know how to spell that, but I'll figure that out later. What happens to officers when they violate a person's right to videotape?
Well, why don't you tell me what exactly happened? We'll go from there.
No. I just wanna answer to one question, if you don't mind, sir. What happens?
I do mind, because you're giving me a vague question.
Okay.
You're giving me a vague. What happens to officers if? I mean, you're giving me a vague. What exactly is it you're calling about? And maybe we can go from there.
Okay. Well, hold on. Just calm down a little bit there, sir. Okay.
I'm calm. I'm trying to help you, but you need to give me more information on what it is you're calling about.
Okay, so if an officer violates a right of a person to film an officer and he throws him in jail for that, what happens to the officer? That I don't think that's a vague question. And you're being recorded, so don't try to dance around.
What exactly? I'm not dancing around anything. What exactly happened?
Well, it doesn't matter. The point is that people. The point is that people are filming officers, and some officers did not get the memo that it's okay to film them.
Okay.
Obviously, according to video evidence, common sense. So I want to know what happens to officers if they violate our right to videotape them. I don't think that's a vague question. I think that's pretty straightforward, don't you?
What happens to officers if they violate your right to record them?
Right. That's it.
It depends on the circumstances. I mean, it depends on what exactly happened. I mean...
Well, basically what's happening according to this scenario of this question, it's pretty obvious. A guy is videotaping an officer, and he doesn't want to be videotaped, and he throws the guy in jail for 10 days.
Okay, what was the guy charged with?
That doesn't matter. What I'm saying...
Was this guy you? Are you calling on behalf of somebody else, sir?
I just want an answer to the question.
Okay,
if you can...
Your question is the best of my ability.
Okay,
are you calling on behalf of somebody else, or are you calling me about an incident?
Actually, sir, if you cannot answer that question, I would like to be directed to somebody who can.
I'm the duty sergeant. I'm the one who's going to speak.
Well, I would like to speak with your superior, or your whoever it is that you're accountable to, if you cannot answer that one question.
I'm the duty sergeant. I'm the one that's in charge today. You're going to speak with me.
Okay.
And I will direct your call from there.
Okay. Well, either answer my...
I'm asking certain questions so that I can direct you, but you're not answering the question that I'm asking.
Yeah.
I understand you're giving me a scenario-based question, and I'm trying to answer it to the best of my ability based on what you're giving me. If you're calling on behalf of another person, if there's another person that you're calling on behalf of that has a legitimate complaint, that's the individual that I need to speak to. You called and asked me a question, I answered to the best of my ability. What happens to an officer if they violate a person's right to record them? Depends on the scenario, depends on the situation. You then tell me that somebody that you know was arrested and locked in for 10 days. I asked, okay, well, what were they arrested for? What were they charged with? You're telling me it doesn't matter. It does matter. It might be a legitimate arrest. You know what I mean? There's different
No,
variables.
that's irrelevant.
You want a black and white answer, and you're giving me, well, that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It does. Those are important variables. You want me to give you a black and white answer, and I can't give you that.
Yeah. Okay. Well then.
You don't like what I'm giving you, and you're asking to speak to a superior. It doesn't work that way.
Well, let me speak to your supervisor because you obviously can't answer that one question.
No, and obviously I cannot help you like you want me to help you.
Well, that's all right because you know what? The world's gonna see what you guys are doing. So is it? What happens to an officer?
How can I assist you, sir? How can I assist you?
Answer my question.
Which was?
I mean, isn't that clear? Didn't I make myself clear?
Obviously not.
No?
What happens to an officer if he's caught violating somebody's right to record them? And I'm telling you that it depends on the situation. It depends on the scenario. You then give me a scenario of a friend of yours or an acquaintance or somebody that you know being arrested for 10 days, and I ask, what was he charged with? It might be a legitimate charge. It might not be what you're thinking it is.
Yeah, you know.
So all these variables are important.
Well, not according to my question, because we have a right to videotape officers, correct? Am I correct?
Media relations. Okay.
Hello?
I'm here, sir. I'm here. I was trying to find out if somebody else had spoken to you in the past.
If somebody else had what?
Spoken to you in the past about the same matter.
No, sir. You know, I just want an answer to a question. I mean, for some reason, officers did not get the memo that it's okay to videotape an officer. I mean,
it is okay. You're absolutely right. As long as you're not interfering with the officer is doing.
So what do you do?
Okay.
Okay, well that's fine. So what happens to an officer if he violates that? And he throws somebody in jail, or they throw somebody in jail for filming them? What do you guys do? What do you guys do in that situation?
It depends on the situation. It depends on what he was charged with.
Well, I understand that, but the situation I'm talking about is
okay.
What you have to say is irrelevant because I'm the one here asking questions. You're the one that's...
Okay, stop screaming, please. Stop screaming and stop talking over me. I'm trying to help you, and you're getting aggravated, and I really don't understand why. I am trying to assist you.
Yeah. Okay, well, the truth of
it. You're not liking what I'm telling you.
Yeah, I don't.
It depends on the arrest. What was he charged with? It could be a criminal matter.
Well, that's irrelevant to the question. It's irrelevant to the question.
It's not irrelevant to the question.
What is your name? What is your name?
C-A-B-R-E-R-A.
C-A-B-R-E-R-A. E-R-A. Cabrera?
Cabrera. Badge number is 3443.
Okay, hold on. 3443. All right. Now let's just I agree with you. We do need to calm down a little bit here. Both of us. The question that I'm asking, I'm the one asking questions, so you have to give me answers. I'm not really concerned with what you're concerned with. What I'm concerned with is just getting answers to questions that I'm asking. Now, if an officer violates someone's right to film them, what do you guys do to them?
It depends on the situation.
Well, I understand that, but the situation...
That's the best answer that I can give you.
Okay, well, the situation that I'm talking about is we have a right to videotape, and an officer violates that. What do you guys do to that officer when he violates someone's right to videotape them? And I'm not talking about any hypothetical situation. I'm just simply saying a man is videotaping and an officer arrests him. That's the hypothetical scenario in this question.
Depends on the situation. It depends.
Well, yes, I understand what you're saying, but that has nothing to do...
Let me finish. Sir, please, let me finish. You're not allowing me to answer your question.
You're not answering my question.
Because I'm not answering the way you want me to answer. You want me to
That's
give you a black and
right.
white answer, and I cannot.
You can't?
There is no black and white answer to what you're asking me.
Oh, there isn't.
It depends on what the officer charged this individual for. It depends on whether or not we perceive it to be something that's worth an investigation. If it is, if the investigation find that the officer, there was some wrongdoing on the officer's part,
All right.
there may be
All right.
discipline towards the officer.
Yeah, I'm not interested in what you're saying right now, so let me ask you another question.
This conversation is over, sir. This conversation is over. We're going nowhere. You don't like what I have to say because I'm not giving you exactly what you want to hear.
Okay, well, I want to ask a different question. Here's another question I want to ask. Have you guys ever fired an officer for violating someone's right to videotape them?
To my knowledge, no.
Okay.
To my knowledge,
has anybody, if you don't mind, I'm asking the questions.
Sir, let me ask you something. This is internal affairs you're calling. Are you calling with a complaint?
Well, sure. You know, I might videotape an officer, and you're interrupting me.
Okay. Are you calling with a
You're interrupting me.
on your behalf,
You're
sir,
interrupting
or-
me.
Sir,
You're interrupting me.
If you continue to be rude, I'm going to end this conversation.
Okay, well, just don't interrupt me, please.
If you continue to be rude,
No,
I'm
okay.
going to end this conversation.
Now,
We're going back and forth. You're not liking what I have to say to you, and you're being rude.
well, I'm not. I'm asking you a question. Now,
You've asked a question,
what the problem that I have, sir, is that if I videotape an officer, I'm in fear for my safety. So, we do have a right to videotape an officer, correct?
You do have a right to videotape an officer. Yes.
Okay. What happens if an officer violates that right?
It depends on the situation.
Okay.
There is no
Well, what
black and white
happens if an
response.
officer violates my right to videotape?
It depends on the scenario, sir.
Yeah, you know
The
what?
situation, it depends. If it's found that he did violate your right, I mean, there could be civil consequences, there could be legal ramifications, there could be disciplinary action from our department, variable things.
Right. So why was that so hard to answer?
I thought I answered that the first few times that you asked me that question.
No, you didn't.
It depends on the situation. The same exact answer I've been giving you all this time. It's just not
Well,
the answer.
yeah, I know. Well, the situation, according to my question, is that an officer violated a right.
And I said it depends on the situation. Depends
So,
on the
so
scenario,
if
a number of things. There is no black and white response that I can
Yeah.
give you. There's no cut and dry response that I can give you. I think I gave you the same exact answer that I gave you the first several
All
times
right.
you asked.
well, Cabrera, if I was in charge of your department, I would have fired you.
Okay. What is your name, sir?
My name's Dwayne. And you know what? The people are getting tired of your, when you guys detain someone, you guys want his compliance, you guys have guns, and then you intimidate people, you throw people in jail when we don't cooperate.
Dwayne,
What if we switched roles here? What if I had the gun? What if I was detaining you and you were acting like you are? If you were me, if you were detaining me and you had a gun, you would probably have thrown me in jail already. But yet here we are, we're suffering at your guys' hands because you guys have guns.
Dwayne, what is your last name?
It's called intimidation.
Dwayne, what is your last name?
Do you understand that?
I understand what you're saying. What is your last name?
Yeah.
Just so that I can document that we've spoken on the phone.
That's all right. I'm not going to give you anything.
Can you at least give me
What's your name?
number?
What's your name? What's your
I gave you
first
my
name?
sir.
What is
I
it?
gave you my first name, Sergeant Cabrera. That's my name. 3443.
I've never heard of anybody's name Sergeant. What's your first
Sir, do
name?
you have a complaint or not?
What's your first
You had
name?
questions. Do you have a complaint or not?
What's your first name?
Sir, do you have a complaint or not? Sergeant Cabrera. First name, Edwin. EDWIN. ID is 3443. Dwayne, do you have a complaint? Do you have a complaint that I can address for you?
How do you spell your first name?
EDWIN, like Edwin Moses,
All
Edwin
right.
Newman.
All right. Well, you
you have a
work for
complaint?
me. You actually work for me, Edwin. I think
I'm
you're.
trying to, but you're not allowing me.
Yeah.
Dwayne,
No,
what's your last
actually,
name? So I can document that
actually, you're not doing a very good job of being accountable. And according to our forefathers, you're illegitimate. You guys are being propped up by a fiat currency that is a fraud. Did you know that?
Dwayne,
Did you know that?
do you have a complaint that that I could address for you.
Yeah. Well, first of all, my first complaint is that you guys are using a fiat currency money system, which George Washington said is a fraud. And then Edward Mandel House admitted it was a fraud. Social insurance is a fraud. When you sign the Social Security card, that's a fraud. It's a contract. You guys operate within the banker's legal system. And that's a fraud because you guys didn't tell us that we're giving up our rights and we're trading them for privileges. You didn't tell us that. Therefore, it's a fraud because you are obtaining our rights and our property without explaining to us and leaving out the truth. So you guys are actually committing fraud. Did you realize that?
Sir, do you have any complaints that
Yes, I do. You guys are out of bounds. Fiat currency is living outside of your means, and you guys are out of bounds. That is my complaint. And then when we try to videotape because we're getting violated, you guys throw people in jail for it. We're getting tired of it. That's my complaint. My complaint is innocent people who are honest are suffering at the hands of your system. That's my complaint. You know, if we had gold and silver, you would not exist because you wouldn't have any money to support you. You guys are being supported by unfunded fiat currency. George Washington said it was a fraud. Edward Mandel House said it was a fraud. Have you heard of his quote?
You know, the funny part about it, Dwayne, is that I probably agree with a lot of what you're saying from a personal political standpoint. However, that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to address any complaints that you may have against any Miami-Dade Police Department.
Well, yeah, you guys are throwing people in jail for videotaping. That's my complaint. And I think the root cause...
You're telling me an overall complaint, a generalized complaint based on what you perceive to be happening. And I can't help you with that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Edward Mandel House said very soon every American will be required to register their biological property. You know what that is? That's their children.
Well, sir, if you don't have any...
Did you know you register your child?
Unfortunately, I have another caller that's coming in.
All right.
So unless you have another complaint that I can help you
Yeah, Edwin, you haven't been very helpful, and I found that with your guys' government.
I apologize for that.
Okay, well, you guys are going to be fired, so your guys' days is numbered because the people are just getting tired of your tyranny.
Dwayne, if I can assist you with anything else, don't hesitate to call.
You're not capable of assisting anybody in anything.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
You too, bye.